My boyfriend and I have been together for about 4.5 years. We started seeing each other back in 2020, and even then he swore that he'd never wanted a relationship. But we ended up dating 6 months in. I have 3 kids from a prior relationship, but fast forward to now, and we have a daughter together. 3 years ago, we purchased a home together, and he's added me to his life insurance policy. He's done all of this, but one thing he hasn't done is marry me. He said it's just a piece of paper. What gives? And that was sent in by Anonymous. What gives? That's a good question.
All right, Anonymous, thank you so much for writing this in. This is one of the most common, frustrating submissions that I get routinely is from women who are frustrated that the guy that they've been seeing for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years isn't putting a ring on it. What gives? Guys, why aren't we doing this? I'm going to give you a quick knee-jerk reaction. Ladies, the reason a guy is not putting a ring on your finger, as Steve Harvey wrote in his book, is because you simply are not requiring it. If you will lead with requirements, your requirement of, hey, I am only willing to date exclusively if this is going to be the next step, if this is going to be the next step, I believe in marriage, I deserve marriage, these are why I want marriage, these are the benefits that I see. You have to start that way. If you don't have your boundaries and standards in check in the beginning, it's almost impossible to enforce them later on. So when Anonymous, when he said he did not want a relationship, that's when you should have said, deuces, I'm out. You should have left right then and there instead of sticking around for 4 years, 4.5 years. Love that he's, you two have bought a home together and kind of building your life together. But if this is something that you really, really wanted, you should have put your foot down right then and there, because I promise this isn't something that you wanted just recently. I'm sure this is something you've been wanting for quite a while. But what I'm going to do is, for people who are in a situation like this, where they've been in a relationship with someone for a while, they actually want to get married, they're waiting for that ring, I'm going to give you a tip on how to actually get a fire lit under your man. Definitely understand the frustration. I think that there are a lot of women out there who are in this exact same boat where they have invested a couple of years or maybe a lot of their years into a man, and for some reason, he is not willing to marry you. Now, I'm going to say this, and this is going to rub some people the wrong way. With the way that the current marriage marketplace, if you will, if that's what we're going to call it, is, marriage is a very scary thing for a man. I'm going to tell you why. It's because the way that the risk of divorce, the way it's set up, a man has a lot to lose. And I was on a call with a client today who went through a divorce where his wife had cheated on him. So he filed for divorce, and his attorney said that he couldn't kick her out. He couldn't make her leave. Mm-hmm. She continued dating until the divorce was final. He couldn't say anything because all she had to do was say that he is making me feel unsafe. And then guess what? He would not have custody of his kids. There is a lot at risk for men when it comes to marriage. So, Anonymous, when you're in this situation, all the ladies that are out there, listen, I know that, marriage is, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel safe. It makes you feel secure. It makes you feel like your man is fully invested. If you're in this situation where you didn't do a good job at putting your boundaries and standards and your requirements out first, and now you've already committed this much time into somebody, you are going to really have to sell the benefit of marriage to him, because likely he has heard the horror stories. Likely he doesn't really see the benefit because it's a big risk on his part. So, ladies, the thing that you probably need to be looking at is, what does he actually get out of this? Well, there's a bit of honor to being able to say that this is my family, that they all have his last name, that you want your kids, because I believe, I don't know if I put it in this, but she has 3 kids.
Yeah, prior relationship, yep.
I think she wants them to all have the same last name. I think that her feeling, and ladies, this is you, that you all feeling full levels of commitment from your man, feeling that it is the way for you to feel the most at peace, that it is a goal of yours for life, and that if he truly does love you, that it's going to be an ultimate expression of that. but you also need to be ready if this is necessary. And I know this is going to rub some people the wrong way. Say, what is it going to take? Do I need to sign a prenup? Is that something that makes you uneasy? And ladies, get ready to ask some uncomfortable questions. What is it about marriage that has you so hesitant? If it's just a paper, then why not sign it?
Sure.
If it's just a piece of paper, why not just sign it? What is the big hesitation? Because ladies, I assure you, there is more than it just being a piece of paper. There are things that guys are very hesitant about regarding marriage.
Yeah, there's definitely more here just because,
Sure.
I mean, he's committed for life in other ways.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, he's doing his job as a man of making sure that he's providing for the family.
Sure.
And if something happens to him, the life insurance, like they're going to be taken care of.
Right.
But what is it about him putting his last name on and like putting this umbrella of his last name onto everybody that has him so turned off? What is it? And Anonymous, it's your job to ask those questions. If you really want this, you need to alleviate those concerns. You need to show that you're in this for the long run, that you're not gonna, one day just say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, and now he has to leave the house and you get the house. Like that is a man's number one fear. That is what he has to think about. Like, okay, well, if one day she wakes up and says she doesn't want me, I'm out. She gets half my stuff. That's the law of divorce. I have divorce attorneys. These are things that men have to really consider. Men lose a lot in divorces, and it's no joke. Like, it's one of the reasons that male suicide is so high. Like, that's something we don't really want to talk about, but Anonymous and other women who are in this situation, you need to alleviate those stresses if you want that man to get on his knee and propose to you. That's your job right now. Mm-hmm.
Especially since it wasn't clarified or stuck to.
Yes, and I said, like, if you don't put your boundaries and your standards up front, it's almost impossible to enforce them later on. And a really good example I give is, like, I know a lot of people have like an iPhone. What are iPhones? $1,000? Let's just say they are. Sure. If an iPhone started out being $50 and then the next day they said they're going to be $1,000, nobody would buy them. But you're out of your mind. You were obviously okay with $50. Now you're doing $1,000. I can't respect that. So that's literally what people are trying to do when they try to enforce their boundaries and standards later on down the road. You have to start strong.
That's it. Look out for number one. We've talked about this numerous times.
We do. It
always comes back around.
Repeat.
Very good. Thank you, Brock, for the advice. Thank you, Anonymous, for writing in. If you out there have a question that you would like Brock to tackle, it can be anything. Email us. That's Gino, Gino, at WDODradio.com. You can also reach out to Brock on social media, just like Anonymous did here, and you can ask your question that way, and we'll try to get it on the air. All of these conversations, by the way, posted up on our website at hits96.com, where full details are posted as well. And don't forget to check out Brock's website, brockolsen.com, and give him a follow on social media. Brock, thanks for the advice. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good, Gino. Thank you.